What's going on, you legends? Sorry for the noise in the background. It's the fans going on. But as I said in the last video, we were going to do an NBA 2K22 video on a fantasy draft, basically saying every team has to get rid of everyone and everyone has to redraft their team. So I'm going to take control of everyone. I'm going to simulate a season like I did in Madden, and we're going to see who basically comes out on top. So I'm going to sim the entire draft, all 14 rounds here. I have yet had a chance to turn off injuries in that. I'll do that after we draft and go over everyone's teams, basically. So that's what will happen. So we will be starting with the 76ers team first. We'll go just to the roster. So the 76ers, Aldridge and DeRozan, or not Aldridge, Levine and DeRozan are both teammates as of now, but they are taking their talents to Philly to take it there with Derrick Rose and Aldridge. Our next team is the Milwaukee Bucks. They have Jimmy Butler, De'Aaron Fox, Fred VanVleet, Andre Drummond. They have three bigs. That's going to be kind of weird. I'm also going to let them trade. I'm not going to have a trade on for me. So for the Chicago Bulls, they took Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, Joe Ingles, DeAndre Hunter, Mason Plumlee. I'm only going to do their top 5 guys. I'm not going to read everyone else off. The Cavaliers, they have Klay Thompson, LaMelo Ball, Bobby Portis Jr., Marvin Bagley, and Cam Johnson. Team's not looking too good at all. For the Boston Celtics, they have James Harden, Jonas Valanciunas, Darius Garland, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jalen Brunson. A lot of forwards on that team. For the Clippers, they have Chris Middleton, Clint Capella, Kyle Lowry, Evan Fournier, Isaiah Stewart. A lot of forwards and guards on that team, it looks like, as well. Actually, a lot of guards. On the Grizzlies, we have Nikola Jokic, Keldon Johnson, Cade Cunningham, Chris Boucher, Miles Bridges, Eric Gordon. I read extra. So you got two young players basically with a superstar, all-star player, previous MVP winner. So this is kind of a young team. I think Eric Gordon is the oldest. Yep, Eric Gordon's the oldest on this team. So we got Trae Young on the Hawks going back there with Tobias Harris, OG Anunoby, Miles Turner, Serge Ibaka. For the Heat, we have Luka Doncic, TJ Warren, Hero going back to Miami, Melo, and Hachimura. For the Hornets, you have Kawhi Leonard, Jarrett Allen, Karis LeVert, Jonathan Isaac, Lauri Markkanen, Hassan Whiteside. Dude, this is a defensive team right here. On the Jazz, you have Booker, Westbrook, Thomas Bryant, Evan Mobley, and Moses Brown. Quite a few bigs in there. For the Kings, you have Beal, Brandon Ingram, Jeremy Grant, Adams, and McConnell. That's your starting 5 right there for them. On the Knicks, you have Donovan Mitchell, Nikola Vucevic, Mike Conley, Victor Oladipo, Rudy Gay. On the Lakers, you got Bam Adebayo, Jaylen Brown, John Wall, Bojan Bogdanovic, Marcus Smart. For the Magic, you have Steph Curry, Christian Wood, Terry Rozier, Draymond Green, and PJ Washington. With Seth Curry come off a bench with his brother. The Mavericks, who have Julius Randle, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Never mind. I was going to say, I think they've wore teammates before, but no, they have not been. Malik Beasley, Monte Morris, and Jeremy Lamb. Team is young, to be honest, but a lot of young talent. For the Brooklyn Nets, they have Joel Embiid, CJ McCollum, Kemba Walker, Thaddeus Young, and Schroeder. Denver Nuggets, they got John Morant, John Collins, As Cantor, Sean Holmes, Buddy Hield, Torrey Craig's back in there. Pacers, you got Jason Tatum, Jamal Murray, Dante DiVincenzo, Jordan Clarkson, and Daniel Gafford. Pelicans, you got Ayton Jackson Jr., DeJounte Murray, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Aaron Gordon. For the Pistons, you got LeBron James, Drew Holiday, Wendell Carter Jr., Kyle Anderson, and Brook Lopez. The Raptors, you got Porzingis and Davis as your bigs, basically. Lonzo, Derek White, and Cole Anthony running your guards, with Terrence Mann as your small. The Rockets, you got Kyrie with Anthony Edwards, Norman Powell, Sadiq Bey, and Alex Caruso. The Spurs, you got Lillard, Halliburton, Robinson, Harris, and Zeller. Suns, you got Williamson, Russell, Sexton, Williams, and Herter. For the Thunder, you got Towns, Barrett, Dort, Kobe White, Markelle Fultz. Minnesota, you have Paul George, Michael Porter Jr., Nurkic, K-Love, Jalen Suggs as your rookie point guard for the team. For the Blazers, you have Gobert, Sabonis, Brogdon, and Sabonis, your teammates again. Wiggins and Gallinari. That's not a bad team, even with Kevin Porter and Gary Trent Jr. as your two guards. For the Warriors, you got Chris Paul, Siakam, Malik, right? Or Mikal Bridges, Dwight Howard, and Ricky Rubio. And then for the Wizards, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo, Gordon Hayward, Reggie Jackson, Jalen Green, and then Al Horford. So, to be honest, there probably is teammates together that played on teams before, but like recent teammates, not really as much on the same team. Not many repeats for players on the same team. I think there's maybe like tops of like maybe a few out of the top 5 that I read. Like 2 to 3 teams that had a repeat of a starter in there, but not much. Everyone's kind of separated, which is nice. So it's all around. If I honestly had to pick a team to win it, I think it would be... I don't know, to be honest. That Blazer team looked really good with 2 bigs. But... like, all these teams are set up to be fair, but if I had to pick a team just going through this quick, I'd probably say most likely the Lakers could be a contention out of it, just how they drafted. I would say the Hornets, because they're like defensive guys. I would say the Hornets could be one. I think the Hawks could possibly be out of it. There's a bunch of teams, but if I had to pick one, I think it'd be the Chicago Bulls team. I mean, their starting shooting guard would be Melo, but they could start any of these two at that spot if they really want to. But the 76ers are also a team, but they're old is the thing. So, I guess we'll see. So I'm going to go fix stuff in the settings, but I'm going to simulate the season first anyways, or it won't matter because you guys won't see it. So I'm going to simulate the whole season, and we'll see which teams did good and which teams did struggle throughout the whole season. Alright, so simulation is done for the one season that we are doing. Russell Westbrook of the Utah Jazz would get most valuable player with almost a triple-double. Rookie of the Year would be Jalen Suggs of the Timberwolves. Cody Zeller would have got Sixth Man of the Year. Giannis would have got Defense Player of the Year. Most Improved would go to Daniel Gafford. Quinn Snyder of the Jazz would get Coach of the Year, and the Executive of the Year would also go to the Utah Jazz. So All NBA First Team, there's your selection. Kind of going to be the same regardless. I doubt one player is going to stand out. Anyone on the defense team that could show anything different only 2 on the Hornets made it defensive, but go figures. I'm actually surprised Scotty Barnes did not get first team, but that first team selection is really good as well. So yeah, so that is your selection. We will go to our league leaders. So Devin Booker would have led with the Utah Jazz on 32 points a game, with Curry right on his trail, and also with James Harden, Young, and Lillard averaging 30 a game. Your total rebound leader is going to be Clint Capella, with Giannis just right behind him on his tail. Bam Adebayo with 12, Embiid with 12, and Towns with 12 as well. Your league leader in assists is James Harden, almost a 10 assists per game guy, along with Westbrook, Jokic, Luka, and LaMelo. Your steals leader is Ben Simmons, with Lonzo behind him, Jimmy Butler, Drew Holiday, and De'Aaron Fox. Your block leader is Rudy Gobert, Bam Adebayo right behind him, Giannis, Clint Capella, and Anthony Davis, with Towns, Embiid, and Jaren Jackson Jr. averaging over 2 blocks a game. Most turnovers is going to be Lonzo. Best field goal percentage shooter is going to be Zion at 66. Your 3-point percentage winner is Devin Booker with 46. Your best free throw shooter this year is Chris Paul at 97. And yeah. One more thing before we hop into it. We're going to go to the standings. So the Eastern Conference, Chicago made it as the 1 seed. This is Ben Simmons, Joe Ingles, Melton Durant, Plumlee, and DeAndre Hunter. Brooklyn was a game behind them with that team. I thought they were going to be good. New York is your 3 seed. That is also a good team, especially when you have Victor Oladipo and Montrez and Eric Paschall off the bench. Boston is the 4th seed. Just got nothing to really say there. Pacers are the 5th seed. This team actually did really good, to be completely honest. The Bucks made it as a 6th seed. I thought they would have done a little bit better, but they also had like 3 or 4 bigs in their roster. So the first play-in team would be the Hornets as a 7th seed. This is an all-defensive team, really. They have Markkanen coming off the bench. What they could have done is, if they really were desperate, run a big system, but they didn't. The other play-in team is the Magic, with Curry, both Curry brothers, Christian Wood, Draymond Green, Okoro, and Rozier. The other play-in game is the Hawks. I really thought this team would have done a little bit better. And then the last playoff team would be the Pistons, with Drew Holiday, LeBron James, Scotty Barnes, and Wendell Carter Jr., and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope as well. Who missed playoff? The Cavaliers, with LaMelo and Klay Thompson. I didn't think they were going to make playoffs, but they did better than I thought they would have. Washington, with Giannis. I mean, it was just Giannis. You got a rookie in there, kind of tough. If we did a 5-6 season, this team would be a 1 seed, guaranteed, most likely. Raptors at the 13th spot with Lonzo and Anthony Davis and Kristaps. I thought this team would have done way better. Sixers are the 14th seed. Age is the reason why they didn't make it. Zach LaVine's the youngest out of the first 6, basically. And the Heat were the 15th seed, with Luka basically trying to carry a team. So we go to the Western Conference. We have the Whoa, I hit the wrong button, my bad. We have the Utah Jazz making it as the 1 seed. Kind of shocking, but I think Westbrook basically did his takeover in what he did in OKC, basically to help Booker out. The 2 seed is the Pelicans. with that too big with Jaren Jackson Jr. and DeAndre Ayton, but DeJounte Murray did a lot for them as well. And they did start Aaron Gordon, with Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench. Your 3 seed is the Spurs with Lillard basically carrying the team, it looks like. I'm surprised they did that good. Nuggets would be the 4 with Morant, Hield, Collins basically leading the way. For your Clippers, as the 5 seed, to be Lowry, Chris Middleton, Capella. You got Stewart. You got a young center off the bench, so no surprise there. 6 seed is the Grizzlies with Cunningham and Jokic duo, basically. The 7th seed is the Blazers. This is our first play-in team in the Western Conference with Brogdon, Wiggins, Sabonis, Rudy Gobert, and Gallinari. Kind of shocking that they made it as a 7. I figured they'd be a little bit like a 5 or something, but Suns would be the 8th seed, but also in the play-in game. You just have Zion, Sexton, and Russell. Mavericks would be the 9 with Gilgeous-Alexander and Randall doing a lot, and Wiseman being the young center on the team. The Warriors with Chris Paul, Siakam, and Mikal Bridges basically make it in as a 10. And the last team would be the Lakers, which is John Wall, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Robert Covington, Bam Adebayo. I thought this team could have done better, but they make playoffs anyways, or at least now they have to win to get in, though. Rockets don't make it. I didn't think they were, though. Just, it was Kyrie, and there's not much there. Minnesota, just young and inexperienced team still. Like young and old players just need a mentor. But like I said, you simulate a little bit further, like a couple seasons, this team's a playoff team. And then you got the Sacramento Kings with Bradley Beal, Brandon Ingram, Jeremy Grant. Kind of shocking they didn't make it. And then Thunder at the 15th spot. Just young, basically. Okay, so we're in the playoffs. There's your 1 through 6, and then your playing games are right here and here. So I'm going to simulate all playing games. The Mavericks lost, the Pistons lost, the Warriors lost, and the Hawks lost. Okay, so there's our bracket now. We're going to simulate just the first round. Phoenix is the first team out. Memphis is the second one. Clippers in Portland are out from the West. Everyone from the East is in a 3-2 series. We got Milwaukee getting eliminated, Boston getting eliminated, Orlando getting eliminated, and the Hornets getting eliminated. So, no major upsets really. I mean, a 5 seed beat a 4 seed, but that's not really a major upset. That's usually going to be a close matchup. So we'll simulate this round as well to see who we have going to the conference championship. We got the Spurs losing 4-1. We have the Pacers losing 4-1. We have the Knicks losing 4-2, and the Nuggets being up 3-0, I believe. So we have Utah and the Pelicans, and Chicago and Brooklyn. I am going to simulate 1 game each. So the 1 seeds are 1-0. We'll take one last look. So the Jazz have Westbrook and Booker, and that is the 2 duos basically there. The Pelicans have the 2 big duos. The Bulls and Nets, for the Bulls, you have Kevin Durant and Simmons. And then you have Embiid and Walker along with McCollum. So it's going to be a tough matchup. We're going to simulate rounds. Brooklyn loses 4-1. Utah comes back from a 3-1 and beats the Pelicans. So it's going to be the battle of the 1 seed. And we're going to simulate it through game by game. Utah takes the first one. I'm guessing Utah's going to win it just based off of predictions. They win Game 2, Game 3, and the 4-0 sweep, with Westbrook winning MVP. So Utah Jazz win the NBA Finals. Once again, this is saying if something happened to a certain team or something, then they had to redraft. So we just did a basically fantasy draft and see what would happen. So if we did a fantasy draft, they would predict the Utah Jazz to win, with Russell Westbrook winning MVP and Finals MVP as well. Looking at the schedule, Chicago kind of had the easier side of it with not really tough games. Utah had 2 games go to Game 7 and then pulled off the easy victory on a 4-0 sweep. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this little video. Next video, most likely, we'll probably be finishing the Black Panther training, and then after that, I have a couple of games in mind. They're going to be older games. One of them is from 2014 or 2015, but I think I will enjoy it. And then there is another one that came out just a few years ago. And then there's another one that I have in line, but it's a series that follows after the first one, which came out in 2014. So I have games in line, hopefully to last until Vanguard and that comes out. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.